Hey guys, Derek here. Welcome back to the channel. We are here reacting to the series finale of The Expanse. This is season 6, episode 6. It is called Babylon's Ashes. It feels wrong to be at the series finale of The Expanse. I feel like this show should just keep going on forever because it's incredible. I still am holding out hope that they will pick it up in some form in the future, whether that be in standalone movies or more seasons. Because after the events of this book, there is a substantial time jump in the books. So there's like a 20 to 30, anywhere from 20 to 40 year like time gap, I think. So pretty much anything that could happen to revive The Expanse in the future, I am very open to. You know, if Psych can get like 3 standalone movies on like Peacock or whatever, I feel like we could get something going for The Expanse. Granted, it's a lot less expensive to do a Psych movie than to deal with all of the special effects of The Expanse. But, you know, Jeff Bezos, you have so much money. But last time on The Expanse, we had a drummer just stealing the show constantly. Karagi is fantastic. She's so good and so different from her character. She just crushes it. We have her and Avasarala agreeing to fight together against Marco. I feel like that's the biggest and most important thing. Like, this whole episode is going to be, you know, trying to finish the fight against Marco and ousting the Free Navy. I assume we will have Bobby's big fight in the ring gate, like on the ring sphere, taking out the railgun. That was a huge moment from the books. I wonder if they will feature the like Laconian mega ships. That would be interesting. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna wrap all this up in one episode, considering the new storylines they've introduced and all the huge storylines currently happening. I don't know if I'll be satisfied at the end of this episode, but I am keeping an open mind. I love The Expanse, and I just want to see more of it. So, yeah, before we jump into this, if you end up liking my reaction, please leave a like on the video. That means a lot to me. If you're new here, consider subscribing, ring the bell so you're notified when I upload. You know, stick around, see if there's other shows that I'm watching that might interest you. And then if you want to see the full uncut version of this reaction, consider supporting me on Patreon. I post all those over there. On Patreon, you can also become a super supporter and get featured in every single one of my videos. But other than that, let's jump into the series finale of The Expanse.
I didn't know how long it was going to take to fix him.
Fix him?
They're like, what?
The dogs fixed him.
Dogs? What are you talking about?
The strange dogs. Bruh. Your zombie child is right there.
I want a hug too. It's okay, he's fine.
Yeah. They immediately recognize that this is a straight monster.
Daddy? No!
The kid's got black blood. Oh, and it healed immediately. That's crazy. It's also about to murder that man.
It's okay. If I die, the dogs will fix me.
Yo. He's gonna kill you.
Hard to believe the inner fleets have been reduced to this.
I'm sure you and your faction did their part.
Not
Okay,
recently.
bitch, shut up.
But things can change quickly.
It's this kind of bullshit that has left all of us with fewer ships.
The strength of the Free Navy warships.
Does all to what?
The ring station. We're going to capture Marco's railguns.
It's quite ingenious, actually. We'll make a Belter proud.
Damn right. Let's go.
You're such a fucking optimist. It's a miracle you've lived this long.
He is an optimist, and it kind of is a miracle that he's alive.
You know, a lot of Martians still consider
MCRN.
Rocinante a stolen ship. They insist on calling it the Tachi.
Must have driven Alex crazy.
It did. He'd tell people that the ship wasn't stolen. It was just smart.
Legitimate salvage.
Looking for people worthy enough to fly it.
Oh, Peaches. I never liked this particular storyline from the books. I just want Peaches to be happy and healthy always. 5 years? Oof.
Our chef's special.
Gonna get. All right.
Of course, he had the real stuff.
She's like, get out of here.
Don't get your hopes up. I could.
Go.
Not ready yet.
Need a hand?
Ah,
Hang on.
I love that. He has to be swatted away and then he swats her away.
Hands.
This is such a nice little scene. The calm before the storm. Oh, her like 5 beds in her cabin and it's only her.
What we did was too little and too late. A sad story of our species.
Facts. Mega facts. Oh. Or is that the Pella? Ooh. Frick. They tricked him.
All guns prepare!
You gotta be pretty good at all this stuff. Ooh, that's Drummer's ship. Oh, she better still be alive. Ooh, there's a goddamn hole in the wall.
Leave the Pella to me.
Oh, Drummer, what are you gonna do?
Oi, Bosman. Think we think the same? Just beat you to it. Then you want cheese.
Okay, well, good. Drummer's not gonna die. This man is gonna do it. Oh, did he just... I think he just died right there. But he got his, he got his thing off. Ooh, and it didn't work, though.
I'll shut down drive 3 and
Oh, hell yeah! Yes, I like that she got shot. She sucks. You deserve to die.
Is it bad? Am I hit?
Yeah, you got smoked.
She needs help!
Yeah, no one cares, man. No one's gonna help you. She's already gone, too. And she deserved it. It just looks so cool. They're literally, each of those is a person. Or at least not each of them, but some of them have people in it. And you can't just, you don't know which ones to shoot.
A little worse than Russian roulette.
What's that? A casino game?
Kinda. Oh yeah, so they're just like hiding amongst the crates.
I see a multiple faults in the grid. The reactor's trying to scram.
Override, we can't slow down.
If we don't, we'll melt the core.
If we slow down, we're dead.
I'll fix it.
Oh, Peaches, you're like practically dead. You got this, Peaches. She's gonna have to use her boosters just to get over there. What the frick just happened?
Come on!
Just needs a little more. Ooh. Yes, put Medina in between, baby. Ugh. This is insane.
This one's gonna be 15G.
Oh, 15G burn. That's insane.
I've been using the mods.
Ooh. How'd you...
Just a ratchet strap and some elbow grease.
Sick.
Or Maggie.
I would be pooping my pants. Oh my god, I would be literally crapping everywhere. Those railguns fire real fast. This is a 15G burn. How are you not like dead? Oh, that was basically like a one-shot.
Bravo, we need to push!
Oof, that guy's brain. Who are they?
Fuck it. I'd rather get shot in the front than the back.
Me too.
Okay, Bobby, but you should go in front. Because you have the best armor. Yeah, Bobby's fucking sending it, bro. Oh! Please do not die. She's just firing everything. She's tanking these shots right now. Come on, Bobby. Ooh. Bitch in. She better live. I swear to God. Roberta Draper. Oh, just getting ripped apart. I mean, they're clanking, but still. Threat severe. Yeah, bitch. Amos is a machine. Oh. Come on. The Rosie? Yes. Let's go.
Fuck yeah, Ross.
Had to take out the guns.
Can I get the longest yeah boy ever? Yeah boy.
You were a useful distraction, but I have gods to kill. The ring to Laconia is now closed. You're on your own. Oi dang, Baltimore.
Sucks to suck, bro. He just has such a way with words that they all do what he wants. Except Philip. Philip sees that he has allowed his father to make him a monster. And he will be the death of him.
As long as we try to kill Marco, I'm in.
You're definitely going to do that.
Like, for real this time.
Any of our passengers.
Don't hit me with that. Don't freaking do that. I wonder what's gonna happen. I legitimately don't fully remember. Does Philip die then? The entities are taking the ship. Not mad that he's dead, but it sucks for Philip. I like Philip. It's different than what happens in the books. At least to Philip. She killed her boy. At least she thinks she did. They didn't show Philip dying, so maybe he took an escape pod? I don't know.
Why is your word enough for me and mine not enough for you?
Going around in circles.
James Holden will make the decision. Because he's the only impartial one here.
You want to show someone you trust them, you put your life in their hands. You can't just pretend to. If you can't do that, you don't really trust them. And if we can't find a way to trust each other at this point, I doubt we ever will.
Agree. James Holden's always right. She has to realize that when he takes a stand on something, that he's generally right.
Person above reproach.
Kamina Drummer.
Political, with a history of working honorably with all sides.
Either Kamina or Holden. They all immediately look at him. He's like, hold on, I don't want to do that.
It's time for you to make.
Oh, yeah, Kamina is the second head of this organization, I believe. Holden's the first. And then he goes to Laconia when he's older. Hey, got a new hand.
I want to thank the UN General Assembly and the Martian Parliament for their vision, courage, and the speed with which they rise. I'm proud and humbled to accept this position as the first president of the Transport Union.
He's got more to say.
Take this job. I insisted on a few conditions.
He's gonna make them public, so all of them you know.
That Kamina Drummer would be vice president. Very wise woman I know once said, "You shouldn't believe what people say. Just watch what they do." My first official act.
They definitely did not agree on this beforehand.
Yeah. Which is why, as my first official act,
he is stepping down.
President of the Transport Union.
And giving it to Kamina Drummer.
The future of the belt has to speak with a belter's voice, and in that spirit, I'm proud to introduce the new president of the Transport Union, Kamina Drummer.
You're goddamn right, baby. Let's go.
One at a time.
He's like, that's what's up.
Please, one at a time.
You duplicitous little shit.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Oh, James. I hope you're right.
You had a solid run as president. When you support those who have been underrepresented, when you hold a position of power, that is what makes you an ally. It's real easy to say all that stuff with words, but until you are yourself within that position of power and you turn around and help the other up, That's when you are truly a leader.
Don't worry, I'll be gentle.
I promise.
She's the new pilot.
I made something for you.
Peaches, you only got so much time left, baby girl.
We still have the original.
Take it right?
Yeah, I think you did.
Oh, she got one too. Matching. Oh.
Pissed off a lot of people.
As is tradition. As is tradition, buddy boy.
It's more important to try to help people than to know
Oh,
that
please
you
tell me he bailed. Please tell me he bailed.
Take my station.
Philly boy.
Someone else's life gets better.
Oh, he
You
dipping.
need to feel good about yourself.
Philip straight
You never know the
dipping.
effect you
Yes.
have on someone. Not really.
Okay, you need to call your mom.
Cool thing you said haunts them forever. Maybe one moment of kindness gives them comfort,
Philip Nagata.
courage. Maybe you said the one thing they needed to hear. It doesn't matter if you ever know. You just have to try.
She said the one thing he needed to hear. She planted that seed in him. Yo, I need her to know that her kid's alive. Oh, the theme song. So that was A. That was The Expanse. Okay, I loved every second of that except for the Laconia stuff, and the only reason I'm not a fan of the Laconia stuff is because I feel like unless they pick this back up at some point with future seasons or future movies, the Laconia stuff was pointless. Right? Like, you know, does that make sense? Otherwise, this was fantastic. Devastating that The Expanse is over, but it's crazy. I mean, this show hasn't necessarily had like the biggest emotional impact on me, but like as a fan of sci-fi and good characters that do the right thing, I think this show and like James Holden and the Belters and like the crew of the Rocinante, I feel like have had an impact on me. There's just something about characters that strive to do the right thing, and I freaking love it. It's oh, gosh dang, it's insane. Yeah, so right off the bat, kid's a straight zombie, and his parents obviously freaked out. That doesn't really go anywhere that we know of yet, right? Like it doesn't go anywhere yet, which is like, I don't necessarily want to talk about it because like it's kind of frustrating that if it doesn't go anywhere, it shouldn't have been included. But it is what it is. But yeah, like this whole episode, seeing, like knowing that for both sides of this altercation, both Earth, the combined fleet of Earth, Mars, and the Belt versus the Free Navy, like for both sides of this conflict, this is a win or die scenario. Like they've driven each other both to the point where like whoever wins is gonna be the only one left, and it's essentially like a war of attrition. There's clever tactics throughout this battle and emotional stakes for all the characters involved. I liked that, Naomi finally really accepted Clarissa as a member of the crew and like talked to her and gave her responsibilities. Just freaking wonderful. But it sucked to see Clarissa like succumbing to the effects that these mods have had on her body. And like the more that she uses them, the worse it gets. She has a 5-year life expectancy now, which is not good. I mean, maybe within the next 5 years, their medical stuff will advance far enough where she could live longer. But given the detrimental impact that, you know, everything has had on these planets, I don't know if it will unless they find something in one of these rings that helps them. But just like the whole pre-battle sequence, everything we see there was just like calm before the storm, cute stuff, you know, sentimental things. The crew eating together beforehand is just like, it's nice to see these people like calm and happy together before we could potentially lose all of them. We don't, which is good, but you know, the possibility was there. We see Drummer with her 6 beds or whatever in her cabin and only her to take them up. That's rough. And then the battle starts and, you know, the Pella slyly disguises themselves. Took some tips from previous seasons of what the Rocinante did in battles, where they just disguise themselves as a different kind of ship and rips apart Drummer's entire fleet. And the pirate guy is gonna, you know, try and end them, and it almost works, doesn't quite work. Just like this whole sequence was crazy. But the big, I mean, like that, you know, the giant ship fights were cool, but like the biggest impactful thing was the assault on the ring sphere, where they launched 2,000 pods with probably like 100 of them being manned ones, and like maybe 20 people make it to the end. And the goal is to take these railguns, and it's not quite working. Bobby has to pretty much sacrifice herself. She thinks it's a sacrifice play. It's not quite, because Amos comes to help her. And then the Roci takes out the rest of them. Or at least, like, the control center was taken out. Like, so they couldn't power up. They were technically still on the station, but unusable now. And just that whole sequence was so cool. Like, you never know if they're going to have certain characters die, because they've changed a lot of things from the book. So it's understandable to assume that this might actually be the end of some of these characters. Marco gets denied help from Laconia, which is savage, because, you know, he needed them for a little bit. Duarte did. And then eventually he was like, no, we were just using you. And now they're their own independent sovereign nation. And over the next 20 years, they will develop the most lethal fleet in the history of anything. And it's kind of insane. We have Philip kind of really seeing his father for who he truly is, and having the words of his mother echo in his head of like, he has made you a monster. He will have you die for him, but he will not die for you. And it's just crazy. Like, this was so insane. Even the final solution. Well, maybe don't call it that. The last solution. Of overloading the gates to have the builders wake up and claim Marco. I loved seeing him get claimed. Glad that they did it. Naomi thinks she killed her kid. I hope at some point, I kind of wished there would have been a scene where she realizes that her son is alive. But devastating. She made the choice to kill him, even though she didn't know he would be alive. But he bailed. He dipping. Kind of similar, almost similar to what happens in the books. In the books, he kills someone in the books, and he gets expelled from Sirius Station. Like, he's not allowed to be there. And I don't remember what happened to him after that in the books, but They didn't quite handle it the same way here. Here he kind of escapes last minute and all of Marco's fleet is swallowed. And what comes after is figuring out what to do and who should be in charge of these things. And like usual, Mars and Earth are like, no, Mars, like each person gets an equal vote. But like Drummer's saying, like the inners versus the belt. That's 2 votes to 1. Like trying to parade and say that we have equal voting power is a lie, because you guys will always vote against us. And so they have to come up with a trade union, a transport union, and James Holden is put in charge because he's like the only impartial person technically. In the books, it says this in the general trivia too, but in the books, Holden actually declined the nomination and nominated Michio Pa instead, which she had that for a while, and then I think it became Drummer's position years later. In this one, he pulls the best move. He leads with his actions and not just his words. He's like, all right, I am the official person. I accept the position. And for my first official act, I resign and give it to Drummer. Because he's like, bro, don't you dare try and change this, because this is the way it has to be. And I just love it. It's such a hopeful end to the series. You know, positive things happen. Everyone that we care about is alive. And it's just it was an emotional but optimistic end to the season, which technically, like, certain small scenes leave the door open for future storylines to continue, but otherwise we're just kind of left with the possibility that these people live happy, long, healthy lives, except for maybe Peaches, and their stories live on in an optimistic way. If I had to give this season a rating, I'd say it's an 8 out of 10. I think all the main stuff that we cared about was fantastic, probably 9 out of 10. But all the Laconia Strange Dogs stuff, while it may have been an interesting storyline to tell if they had continued it, given the fact that this was the final season, I don't think they should have included it. Kind of meant nothing, unless they continue with more series or more movies or whatever. So that's the only knock on that I would give this season. The VFX shots, fantastic. The acting, fantastic. Storylines, loved it. Like, deeply emotional, fantastic. This series as a whole, like I said, arguably one of the best sci-fi shows of all time. Like, if you think of a hard sci-fi show, like most realistic, even though they bring in aliens and stuff to this show, this is one of the most realistic sci-fi shows to ever exist. Even just like it's up there with like Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, all these hard science fiction shows. I think The Expanse is right up there. The only thing that held it back was probably being on Sci-Fi for the first 3 seasons. Even though the first 3 seasons were some of the best, I think Sci-Fi's budget held it back a little bit. And then Amazon didn't really do a ton to market this show. I think they kind of just coasted on its already substantial and dedicated fan base. I don't know if they thought they needed to market it, but The Expanse could have been such a big show. I guess sci-fi is already kind of a little bit of a niche genre, but like, given how popular this show was, even within that niche, it could have been massive. But this show was fantastic. If I had to rate the entire show out of 10, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. Fantastic, absolute masterpiece of a show. I wish it could have kept on going longer. It's probably somewhat expensive to make this show, though. I think they said in the X-ray, each episode had roughly 250 VFX shots, and that's expensive. and they said this, even just the ring fight scene alone had like 80 in this episode. So maintaining that pace of like a VFX heavy show is tough and expensive, and still though it was fantastic. I thought all the actors phenomenal. If I had to rank my favorite characters, I think number one is Amos. Amos Burton is freaking love him. You know, just his personality, the way he went from season one of my least favorite characters in the entire show. I did not like him. I was upset every time he was on screen. I liked Holden the most. He's kind of like a knockoff Jon Snow in a way, but he isn't just like a pouty Jon Snow. Jon Snow is kind of pouty sometimes. I think Holden he stood up and outwardly did the right thing. So he kind of differentiated himself in a way. But Jon Snow was my favorite character in Game of Thrones, so I think the thing that they have in common was their desire to do the right thing, even if it came at personal cost, right? Like, when they're presented with the opportunity to either do the easy thing or do the right thing, they did the right thing. So I think Amos, number one favorite character. Number two, Holden. Number three, Bobby. And maybe Avasarala fourth. Everyone else is cool, but doesn't stack up to those characters in my mind. So yeah, I don't know. This show will have a profound impact on me in terms of anytime someone asks me what my favorite sci-fi show is ever, I will probably say this one. Fantastic. I have read every book except for the most recent one. Like, there's very few media properties that will drive me to want to read the book. Like, most of the time when I've experienced a story, it's very hard for me to revisit that story again, like playing a game again, like a heavy story driven game again, or watching a show again. It's very difficult for me to revisit that. And that includes like watching a show and then reading the book of that show, especially if they hewed very closely to the original material. It's kind of just like going over it again, and it never quite hits the same way. So the fact that this show drove me to read pretty much every one of the books is a testament to how good it is. The fact that I have willingly put myself through like hundreds of hours of book reading for this show says a lot about it. Freaking thank you so much to the creators of this show, to the actors within the show who gave their much of their lives, you know, their prime acting years to this show. Thank you for your service. To the fans, the Screaming Firehawks, to the fans that rescued this show from cancellation, thank you so much. I mean, I technically am one of those. I tweeted Save the Expanse. It has been a pleasure to experience this show with you guys. I hope that you guys stick around on my channel for other fun shows that we can watch together. You know, Wheel of Time, as it's shown on my screen. Read those books. Watch that show. It's awesome. The Witcher, watch that. Peacemaker started. So, I don't know. I just hope you guys stick around. Let me know what you guys thought of this finale in the comments, the show as a whole. What are some of your favorite moments from this show? I think probably my favorite moment of all time in this show involves Prax and Amos, two best buds. When Prax was going to kill the doctor, and Amos is like, "You're not that guy." And the doctor's like, "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you." And then he closes the door and he's like, "I am that guy." Oh, that's arguably my favorite scene in the entire series. Just insane. and maybe recency bias is coloring it a little bit, but I think my second favorite scene, just due to the moral and universal impact it has on me and the universe within the Expanse, I think my second favorite scene in this entire series is Holden stepping down and giving that role to Drummer. It's just like, it speaks so much to what it means to be a true ally to those who are underrepresented. And I, you know, as someone who has the face that I have, you know, I haven't necessarily experienced much of being on the unfortunate end of that, where you get left behind. But as I've been learning over the past years via various newsworthy things happening in my home state, and, you know, members of my family and extended family who don't look like this, sometimes in order for, you know, people can't pull themselves up by their own bootstraps, you know? It's impossible. It's a paradox. So in order for people to not be stuck in the cycle of being put down, in the cycle of unfortunate things happening to them, sometimes you need someone who is in that position of power and privilege to turn around and help you up and put you in a position to succeed, right? Like when people talk about getting more stories, getting more minority stories told in movies and films and television, and getting more of those actors and writers and directors in the room when decisions are made, it's very hard to get into that room if the people in that room already are resistant to you being there. So all you need sometimes is someone who is there to prop you up, to support you, to put your skills and needs on display, sometimes in detriment to their own. So I think that scene, due to the just overall importance that it has philosophically and morally, is probably my second favorite scene of all time in this series. And roast me if you want. I love Drummer as a character. Why did I forget Drummer is one of my favorite characters? She sits comfortably in the top 5. I would say top 5 can shift around. Number 1 is Amos. But then number 2, I think, is Holden. Number 3, Drummer. 4, Bobby. 5, Avasarala. Yeah, just, I love that scene. So that's one of my favorites. Yeah, like I said, let me know what some of your favorite moments are. I want to hear all your thoughts. If you liked my reaction to this episode, to this series, please leave a like on the video. It means a ton to me, helps my channel out a ton. If you're new here, consider subscribing, especially if you want to see other shows that I might be reacting to either now or in the future. Ring the bell so you're notified when I upload. And then if you want to see the full uncut version of this reaction, consider supporting me on Patreon. I post all my full uncuts in watch-along format, so if you're interested in that, please consider checking it out. On Patreon, you can also become a super supporter and get featured in every single one of my videos. But other than that, thank you for watching. It has been a pleasure to experience this story with you, and I hope to see you in the future, in more shows and more stories that affect us in positive ways and make us think about ways we can be better. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.